American media was once regarded as the vanguard of truth, and they have become one of the most spiritually compromised institutions of our time. And that's not an overstatement. You see, when you strip away the polished graphics that's flying across the screen, the breaking news banners, the editorial performances, it's like watching theater. What you often find is a machine that's not driven by truth, but by fear, by profit, by partisanship, and by manipulation. Jesus also warned us in Matthew 24:6. He says that you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but to see it, when you see it, don't be alarmed. So he's trying to bring peace, even though he understands that what's going to happen when you start hearing about it. So the danger is not just simply in the wars, but in the rumors, the commentary and the narratives designed to stir panic, confusion, and unrest. The media just doesn't report conflict. It actually manufactures the emotional tone that actually accompanies it. It's no longer a neutral observer. It is a manipulator of perception. Now, don't misunderstand. There is a righteous role for media. I believe that. All right. There is a need for discernment and journalism. We need information to prepare for things like storms, emergencies, critical developments. But the intent of righteous media is preservation and not provocation. There is a kingdom difference between warning people to evacuate and exploiting those same tragedies just to get clicks. If the media were truly righteous in nature, it would operate with integrity, it would report with discernment, protect the national interest. But instead, we often see the media culture intoxicated with exposure, addicted to drama and not accountability. Take the recent incident involving the encrypted messages that were sent across that platform they call Signal, right? So classified information was reportedly assessed and circulated in an environment that it should have never reached. But here's the deeper question. How did it get there? One journalist who allegedly accessed the information claimed that they thought in the beginning, when I listened to an interview, that it was a joke. And that even after they were connected to it, they stayed connected out of curiosity. So instead of alerting authorities, the story was allowed to fester, to evolve, and to ultimately erupt. And once it became a weapon against the current administration. And this is where the problem lies. So whether it's a Democrat in office or a Republican in office, it's the whole fanfare of everything. If someone becomes aware of a breach in national security and remains silent to later weaponize it politically, that's not journalism. That's complicity. That's not integrity. That's sabotage. Where is the media's sense of moral obligation that if a breach is discovered, a righteous reporter, one with true concern for the nation, right, would sound the alarm? But in today's environment, the story becomes more valuable than the safety of the citizens or those other countries or the men and women who are service providers. You see, this is the very spirit of the accuser. Satan is not just a liar, he's a propagandist. He doesn't invent the truth, he just twists it. Use partial facts, manipulated context, omitted details to engineer deception. And this is what modern media has often become, a tool of satanic logic, right? Where the truth is relative and the narrative is king. And so these situations, or this particular situation, even reminds me of the Pharisees who drugged that woman out. Remember? They drugged the woman out, they caught her in adultery, they drug her out before Jesus and started asking, what should we do with her? But the interesting thing is they left her male counterpart untouched. This is selective outrage. Because according to the law, both of them should have been there. But this is selective. They selected what they wanted because they were targeting Jesus, right? And it's strategic exposure. And yet, Jesus, full of wisdom, rightly divided the moment. That's what he did. He didn't deny the law, but he exposed their hypocrisy. And so this is what the church must do today, right? Rightly divide the headlines. Just don't consume media, but discern it. Don't just repost, reflect. Ask what's being said. Who benefits from this narrative? What truth is being hidden? We're not just called to be parrots of the culture. We're called to be prophets in it. And prophets just don't echo headlines, they confront principalities. So let's be reminded, the true battle is not against networks or pundits, but it's against powers and principalities that seek to shape belief through corrupted information. We must be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves, and bold as lions, because if the church loses its discernment, then we lose our witness. And if we ever hope to be the salt and light in this information age, we must rightly divide not just scripture, but society as well.